Let us open up our AIIAS database one more time. So we have the course database, we have the student records, and we have the employees records. And what is a database? A database is a set of data stored in a computer. This data is usually structured in a way that makes the data easily accessible. So this AIIAS database that we have here completely satisfies our definition of what a database is, because these are Excel files saved on our computer and they are easily accessible, and it contains records of entities and instances of entities that satisfies the definition of what a database is. But in this course, we are just not merely going to look at database, but instead we are going to look at something called relational database. So there is only one word added to database. It's called relational. So what does this mean? So in this case, in our AIIAS database scenario, course entity, students entity, and employees entity will have relation to each other. That means they can create relationship with each other. That is what it basically means. So the rest of the course is really how these relationships are created and how these relationships are maintained. There's a technique, scientific technique in creating these relationships, and that is what we are going to learn in this course. It is because of this very reason we will have to now abandon Microsoft Excel and no longer use Microsoft Excel, but instead we will use a software called MySQL, which is as good as any other commercial relational database software such as Oracle. Having said that, most of the time we just shorten it and we say database management system. So when we talk about database management system, we are basically saying relational database management system. So from henceforth, sometimes I would just say database management system. I would most probably not use the word relational database management system. So I want you to take note of that. When an organization or an institution decides to deploy some of these sophisticated database systems, these are some of the costs and risk that should be taken into account. For example, the first one, you will need to hire new specialized personnel such as a software engineer and a database designer. And next, installation and management cost and complexity. You will need to maybe acquire new servers, new machines, and so forth. And also conversion cost. Before you were relying on Microsoft Excel and Google Sheet, and now you are going to deploy MySQL or Oracle, it is definitely going to cost you a lot of money to convert from Excel manual systems to sophisticated database approach. So, and the next, need for explicit backup and recovery. So you will need to think of how you back up your data and so forth. And organizational conflict. When you switch from one system to another or a more sophisticated database system, then this is going to create or bring about conflicts within the management and also within the workers. Some of them will have to be retrained, some workers will have to be moved. It's not going to be a pleasant ride, both for the workers and for the management.